We're about to deconstruct one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, most misunderstood collections of strategies ever put to paper. But look, this isn't about memorizing a list of laws. Not at all. This is about understanding the psychological operating system that they all run on. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the code itself.
The safest position is the one that is immune to manipulation. Just let that sink in for a second. That one sentence holds the entire key to what we're talking about today. It tells you that safety isn't about being nice or avoiding conflict. Real safety, true power, is a state of psychological immunity. But the question is, how do you get there? Well, you start by understanding the anatomy of the attack.
And that right there brings us to what I call the immunity paradox. See, we're about to unmask the hidden logic behind all these classic power strategies. And here's the secret. They aren't 1,000 different complex tricks. No, they're just variations of a few core exploits that target our most predictable, hardwired, automatic human responses. So to become immune, you don't build higher walls, you learn the blueprint of the weapon being used against you.
Now let's talk about a pattern that I bet is going to feel very, very familiar. Have you ever been in a situation, could be a negotiation, an argument, even just a simple conversation, where one minute you feel like you're on solid ground, and the next it's like you're in quicksand? Your logical points just get deflected, your efforts suddenly get derailed, and the whole conversation gets hijacked by this wave of confusing, emotionally charged actions from the other person. You walk away feeling drained, disoriented, and you're just left thinking, what on earth just happened?
Let me be clear. That feeling is not an accident. That crippling confusion, that strategic miscalculation, that sense of vulnerability, that is the intended outcome. This isn't random chaos, it's the result of a systematic exploitation of your own human defaults. You see, the operator creates confusion for one simple reason. A confused mind cannot strategize, it can only react, and a mind that's reacting is a mind that can be controlled.
So how is a state of confusion manufactured so reliably time and time again? Okay, here's where we shift from the feeling of being manipulated to the actual mechanics of it. Let's pop the hood and analyze the engine. At the very heart of the 48 Laws psychology is a system I call the psychological leverage loop. It's a recurring process designed for one thing and one thing only, creating and maintaining asymmetrical control.
And this loop, it has 4 stages. And trust me, once you see this pattern, you are going to see it absolutely everywhere. Stage 1 is initiation. The operator exploits one of your cognitive biases, like your brain's natural desire to avoid complexity. Maybe they start with a vague or confusing statement. Stage 2, escalation. Then they introduce fear, urgency, or scarcity. Suddenly there's a deadline, a veiled threat is made. Stage 3 is reinforcement, and this is the genius of the loop. It uses your own predictable reactions against you. When you try to over-explain yourself or desperately seek clarity, you're the one spending all the energy, which only reinforces their control. And finally, stage 4, the payoff. They get what they want, your compliance, your resources, your dependency. And then, the loop just resets.
But here's the thing, even when you're caught right in the middle of this loop, it's almost impossible to see it happening in real time. So why? Why is this system so incredibly effective at operating right there in plain sight, yet it remains completely invisible to its target?
Well, the answer comes down to something called the asymmetry of focus. You see, the operator isn't focused on the topic of the conversation. They're focused on your psychology. They're managing the frame of the interaction while you are getting lost in the little details. They are calculating your predictable reactions while you're busy trying to understand their stated motives. To put it simply, they are playing chess, watching your emotional state, while you are playing checkers, focused only on the words being said. And that asymmetry is the key to their invisibility.
Okay, let's go one level deeper. Now that we understand the strategic framework, we need to understand the vulnerabilities it's built to exploit. We need to look at the specific bugs in the human brain's code that this entire system is precision engineered to hijack.
The first, and by far, the most critical vulnerability is something called cognitive load. Think of your rational mind like a computer's processor. It only has a finite amount of bandwidth, right? Well, manipulators weaponize complexity, ambiguity, and emotional intensity to intentionally overload your processor. And why do they do that? Because when your brain's cognitive load is maxed out, your ability to think logically and deliberately just degrades rapidly.
The whole goal here is to force a functional shift in your brain. They overload you with all this cognitive and emotional data to push you out of your slow, logical, deliberate, rational brain, that's your prefrontal cortex, and force you into your fast, emotional, and automatic reactive brain, your limbic system. and an opponent who's operating from their limbic system is predictable and, frankly, very simple to control.
And once you're in that reactive state, they use specific psychological triggers to keep you there. They leverage loss aversion, which you see in Law 11, making you more afraid of what you might lose than focused on what you could gain. They use fear conditioning, like in Law 15's advice to crush your enemy totally. They'll deploy identity threats, attacking your reputation, a tactic straight out of Law 5. And they use intermittent reinforcement from Law 17, just to keep you completely off balance. You have to understand these aren't random tactics. They are carefully selected exploits for known bugs in our human cognition.
The cumulative effect of all these tactics is absolutely devastating. The whole system is designed to lock you into a state that is just psychologically draining, a high-effort, low-certainty state of chronic anxiety. You're constantly working, trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution, just burning through your mental and emotional resources. And in that state, clear strategic thinking becomes nearly impossible. You are now perfectly primed for compliance. All right, we've deconstructed the problem, the framework, and the psychology behind it. Now we move to the solution. This section is all about the countermeasure, a clear, tactical protocol for neutralizing this entire system. I call it the decoupling protocol.
The single most important shift you have to make is in your objective. Your goal is no longer to win the argument, or explain your position, or get them to understand you. Your new #1 objective is to stop reacting emotionally and start identifying the mechanism being used against you. You have to shift from being an actor in the drama to becoming a critic sitting in the audience.
The protocol itself is just 2 simple steps. That's it. Step 1, trigger identification. The moment you feel that surge of emotion, that confusion, anger, or fear, you pause and you name the tactic. Just say it in your head. Ah, this is loss aversion. The simple act of labeling it immediately activates your rational brain. Step 2, reverse the cost. Remember, their strategy is designed to be low effort for them and a high effort for you. You reverse this by refusing to do the heavy lifting. Stop over-explaining. Stop defending yourself. Simply refuse to play their game.
So how do you actually do that? How do you reverse the cost? You do it by shifting the cognitive burden back onto them. Instead of defending yourself, you calmly ask a question that forces them to do the work. A simple, incredibly powerful question like, what is the specific outcome you're looking for with this approach? That single move can disarm the entire loop by making them justify their own strategy. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand this. This knowledge is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for construction or for destruction. The ethical application isn't to go out and manipulate people, but to build your own defenses and to foster genuine connection. For example, understanding the principle of reciprocity can be used to build cooperative social trust, not just to extract favors from people. True mastery lies in using this knowledge for powerful self-defense and ethical influence.
Okay, let's bring all of this together. It's time to consolidate this entire deconstruction into one final, powerful mental model. I want you to think of this as patching the bugs in your own psychological software.
So here it is, the entire system on a single screen. The problem, the 48 Laws psychology is really a psychological leverage feedback loop that systematically exploits your cognitive biases. The vulnerabilities, it specifically targets your brain's tendency toward high cognitive load, fear, and loss aversion. And the solution? The strategic counter is not to fight back emotionally, but to deploy the psychological decoupling protocol to identify the mechanism and regain control of the interaction.
And if you take away only one thing from all of this, let it be this. The human mind runs on software that has predictable bugs. Power isn't about being the loudest person in the room. True strategic mastery comes from understanding this reality and then diligently working to patch your own code first. It's all about self-awareness and psychological resilience.
Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started. The safest position is the one that is immune to manipulation. After everything we've just covered, that line should have a whole new weight, a whole new meaning. Immunity isn't passive. It's an active, strategic state of awareness. It's the ability to see the system, not just the story, and to choose a logical response instead of a programmed reaction. That is the safest position. And now you have the blueprint to build it.